welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham, and today I'm joined by Peter Bewick, who's Managing Director of Hamelin Gold. So, Peter, been a very busy time for Hamelin Gold, having just listed on the ASX in November last year. You've been busy working with your Tanami West Tanami Gold project up in the north of WA. I'll let you explain where it is and what's been happening. So what has been happening since listing? You've been out there working on the project, you're getting good results. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, it has been a great start. First year in the field up there as Hamelin Gold. Obviously, the first big exercise we had was building a team. So we started from scratch with myself as the only employee, but we built a great team. Brought along Clayton Davies from ex-Gold Road as the exploration manager, and he's built a great team of people under him, and we've got that group together, and we've hit the ground running at our key marquee project. So the project is one singular group of tenements that runs from the Northern Territory WA border, some 100 kilometres in sort of strike length, so sort of Perth to Northam from an idea of length of the project. And 2,500 square kilometres of the sort of land that we're looking at behind the image of me there. It's quite flat, featureless, spinifex covered desert country. And our basic view of the world is this is part of a very well endowed gold district. Newmont have what is their highest margin gold operation in the Northern Territory, just some 100 kilometres to our east, producing 500,000 ounces a year. It's a real giant of a gold deposit. And this chunk of the earth that we control now is an area that's had very, very little what we'd call modern exploration. In fact, the very first hole we drilled out here, Diamond Hole, was the deepest hole ever drilled on the project. And so it's an area that's had very little deep drilling. It's really a two-dimensional data set that we've generated or inherited, sorry. And from this, we've looked at the projects that have got some early indications of the sort of gold systems we want to find. And we've gone out to 7 of those projects, prospects, and completed diamond drilling to try and understand the geology, the structures, what makes the ingredients of a decent gold deposit, and what can we see in that early drilling. And from that, we're going to prioritise our activities for the following year.
You were just saying about Newmont is one of your neighbours, and looking at the picture behind you there, you'd think that there wasn't too many others, but you are surrounded by a good quality bunch of explorers out there. So obviously there must be some sort of noise happening in the neighbourhood.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. I don't know, those that follow the Tanami, it's had not a long exploration history. So sort of 1980s was where it sort of the first of the major discoveries were made. And I don't know I was there at site not that long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I think there were 5 drilling rigs on the West Australian side of the border. There were 4 different companies out there exploring at the same time on the West Australian side. And I don't think that probably has ever happened in the life of the whole Tanami. It's very busy. We've got the rare earth explorers, PVW, up there to the north of us. We have Killy Resources, who have both rare earths and gold. Ourselves, Hamelin Gold, and then of course Black Cat, who just purchased the Coyote gold mine from Northern Star, and that's the West Australian side. And then directly to our east, Prodigy, Northern Star, Newmont are going as fast as they can, I think, up in the Northern Territory side of the Tanami. So it is a big gold belt, something like 300 kilometres long, and both gold, rare earths are really sort of bringing the Tanami alive again.
You just recently you put out some results from the Camel deposit, and now you're off drilling at another one. The name escapes me just at the moment.
At Fremlands, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So you're drilling there. You've got the results from Camel. Obviously, they sort of encourage you to continue the drilling. What is going to be next? Are you going to concentrate on these couple, or are you going to send a rig around the 7 different prospects as you were talking about?
Yeah, well, we do have a long string of prospects to work on. The 2 that you mentioned, Camel, we actually don't quite call it a deposit yet. It's still a very good-looking prospect. There, we just completed 1 line of drilling. We just completed almost like a stratigraphic section of drilling. 4 RC holes, 2 diamond holes. The diamond holes are still waiting on the assays from that, and we've sort of put a note out. It's got some great-looking, material in the hole, but we'll wait for the assays. The RC drilling was very, very positive. We got a 100-metre intersection at about 1/4 of a gram, sort of saying that here's a big long run of interesting gold anomalism. What was really interesting to us out there, Wally, is we went out there, a pretty featureless flat part of the earth. Camel is a slight hill, a couple of metres high. We actually went out there to basically peg the holes for the drilling, and we'd never been out there because the access hadn't been established. We went out there and saw all these outcropping veins sticking out of the surface, which only stick out of the ground a couple of centimetres, but we just went, oh, this is a really cool idea just to go out and do some surface sampling. We flew the drone, did some really detailed orthophotography, went out and mapped all the veins, and we're picking up to 23 grams per tonne gold off the ground out there. So this is a really fascinating, interesting project that we've now got a bit of scale at surface. So it's about a 400 to 500 metre long area where we've got outcropping mineralised veins. And now we've got RC holes, only fairly shallow, 100 metres, but got a diamond hole that's got pretty depth extensive looking veins that could carry gold. So we're starting to build up that 3-dimensional picture. We're about to fly a really quite a detailed 35-metre flight line spaced aero mag survey at Camel to try and identify those second order structures which might be controlling the gold. And we're going to, we're pushing the weather a bit, but we're going to back up with another RC program out there at Camel as soon as the rig becomes available. So Camel has got, when you start ticking off the really important criteria for the discovery of what you wanted to see to make a good gold deposit, Camel's ticking a lot of boxes. A beautifully folded dolerite sequence within the sediments, depth extensive veins that look like they're containing gold, high grade at surface. It's kind of looking pretty damn good. So the follow-up RC drilling will be testing that concept that we were actually onto the top of a chute, and we're taking a guess on, an educated guess on where we think the plunge of that chute's going. So Camel's rapidly becoming our most advanced of our prospects. Fremlin's, hand on heart, when you started this project, you looked at Fremlin's, it looked great. It's from a detailed aero mag without and the sort of shallow drilling done, it again looks like a real Cali dead looks like sort of lookalike. So we were very, very keen to get onto that project. Unfortunately, it was the last project granted in our tenement package. It was actually listed. We actually got it granted one day before we listed or lodged the prospectus, which caused us all sorts of fun and games for the lawyers to rewrite the solicitor's report. But so we finally got the heritage survey completed. And we got out there a little bit later than the other projects, but we're drilling there literally just finished 2 days ago. So we completed 3 diamond drill holes. Again, the first diamond drilling ever completed on this 6-kilometre long gold system. And the geology we're seeing in the holes is the sort of things you'd want to see. We're getting a good rheology contrast. We're getting some structures that look like they could be containing gold mineralisation, but obviously, we just got to wait for the assays to see what happens there. But any one of the projects that we've actually drilled could jump up the priority list really quickly from these early results. So I think like us, a lot of the industry is sort of suffering a bit with the timing it's taking to get assay results returned. So what we decided to do is get the base data sets across all the projects. We'll compile that information, and then that will prioritise our work for next year. So we're really in that Goldilocks zone where we're looking at drill holes going, this could be anything. The assay lab will probably pour cold water on a couple of those, but hopefully a couple of them return what we're hoping for, and that'll drive our next year's activity.
Well, as I was saying before, like you only listed in November, so you've been extremely busy since then, and the proof's in the pudding. I mean, the results are coming in, and they're coming in positively, which is really good. Obviously, there's going to be more news to come, so you know where to come to when you've got that news, so that we can disseminate it out to our readers and viewers here at the Roadhouse. Look, I know you're a busy man, Peter. Thank you very much for your time, and we will no doubt catch up again very soon.
Look forward to it, Wally. Cheers, mate.